Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wassalatu wassalam ala Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Jazakallah khairan to everyone who's watching it, whether you're watching it live or when I've uploaded on YouTube, whatever. Um, yeah, if you're on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, and I'm not looking directly at you, it's not because I'm being rude or ignoring you. It's because I'm actually looking into a DSLR or a professional camera because I'm recording that way. Because I've tried to do podcast live streams before, and I've done it, and the quality's been okay on a phone. Obviously, it's not as good as a professional camera, but then after it's uploaded and you watch it back, the quality is terrible, the vision is terrible, and the audio is terrible. Even on YouTube, like proper messed up. Even if you have sometimes have a good computer. So yeah, so basically, if I'm not looking directly into the camera, into your into the camera you're watching, like I said, on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, Periscope, then it's because basically I'm looking directly in the camera because I want the videos to be quality, inshallah. So yeah, basically, some of you will know, some of you won't know, I'm a convert to Islam. I'm a converted over 10 years ago. Um, you know, uh, Came from a single parent family, got into trouble in my youth as you do, experiment around with life. Went jail 1 or 2 times, and I became Muslim in well, I came to a conclusion Islam was the truth in prison. But this talk is not about that. If you type in Streetordeen, why I became Muslim, my video will come up, and you can hear about my story about how I became Muslim and so forth. I was born into a Jamaican Christian family on one side, and a Haitian family. Well, my father's Haitian, but I don't know him, haven't really knew him, and it's a long story, but you can watch it on my Streetordeen YouTube channel. Now, I've got 2 channels. I've got Streetordeen TV, yeah, or Streetordeen, yeah, podcast and Google Hangouts. So if you subscribe to them both, inshallah, if you want to be updated with videos. Anyway, I talk about my full story in that video, and yeah, I think for non-Muslims or even Muslims who are not practicing, if you watch it, it should help. A lot of people are getting caught up into like smoking, drinking, clubbing, gangs, crime, all that kind of stuff. But anyway, the whole point is that, yeah. So if you type Streetordeen, if you're not follow project, just type Streetordeen into any social media, whether that's Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, most social media, Snapchat. Just type Streetordeen into it and follow the project. The project is basically made. There was, like, even though I'm a convert and I've come to Islam, there was a stage in my life where I was practicing, and then a situation happened between me and another person who was born into a Muslim family, and basically a situation happened. Maybe one day I'll talk about it, and I fell off deen. So sorry guys, Facebook is playing up. Hold on. Tech problems is the story of my life, boy. Tech problems, boy. I mean, Instagram is playing up. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So yeah, alhamdulillah. Like I said, I'm a convert, revert, whatever term you want to use, and at one stage I had an interaction with a Muslim, and something happened, and I ended up falling off deen. So for quite a few years, I fell back into smoking. I fell back into listening to music. I fell back into having a girlfriend and so forth, and for many years, and not bad company like I had before, but yeah, not really moving with practicing people. And I stayed in that position for many years, always thinking in the back of my head, yeah, one day I'm gonna practice, one day I'm gonna get on Dean, one day I'm gonna start hanging around with better people. You know, one day I'm gonna try and fully practice and so forth. And I had this would happen like day after day, month after month, year after year. You know, you could be smoking weed, you could be having a girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever, this, that, and the other. You could be listening to tunes and this, that, and the other, and so forth. Hanging around with people who are bunning, smoking, and stuff like that, and so forth. And at that time, there wasn't social media and so forth. And I remember that I kept on saying tomorrow, 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 and Shaitan keeps on saying that to you when you're in this thing that, you know, Islam's the haq, but you may be hanging around with people like who, you know, are just doing major haram, smoking, whether it's cigarettes, whether it's weed, whether it's harder drugs than that. You know, listen to tunes, you know, free mixing, go hanging around with boys and girls hanging around, so forth. And in the back of your mind saying, yeah, one day I've got to get on Dean. But that can, some people, that never happens. They never get back on Dean. They die. They die before they start practicing. So the reason why I set up this project is because I, I don't know which feeling is worse. I think when you're not a non-Muslim and you don't know what your purpose is, you may be financially secure, you may be affluent, you may have freedom and you can go raving, you can go smoking, you can go drinking and stuff. But the kind of depression or the kind of problem you have when you're a non-Muslim and you're free and you're doing smoking and drinking and all these different things is that you know something's missing but you don't know what's missing, so there's kind of like a mystery. You might be laughing and joking with everyone when you're smoking and you're drinking and you're party or you're with this girl or this person or so forth, but something's missing but you don't know what it is because you don't know about Islam. But I think it's worse that gap and that missing and that hole. Um, it's kind of, it does bug you. But I think the worst thing is that when you're a Muslim and you have practice and you've fallen off deen, that's the worst thing. Because when you've practiced, yeah, or when you're non-Muslim, you know certain things are not good for you or bad for you, but you don't actually know that the creator of the universe says they're haram. But when you're a Muslim and you practice and then you've fallen off deen, yeah, and you're smoking and you're listening to music and you maybe got a girlfriend or boyfriend, you can't enjoy haram. It's impossible. That you cannot enjoy haram because one, you can't bum weed and this stuff, because when you bum weed and this that, you think about Jahannam, you think about if you die in this state you're gonna go to Jahannam and you're gonna have problems. Not only that, you can't enjoy a girlfriend because you know that every second you spend together, that is bringing you closer to the hellfire. You can't enjoy like going out raving and clubbing because you just know that if you die in this state, the chances are you're gonna go straight to Jahannam. So when you know better, when you take Shahada, when you've practiced, and then you've fallen off deen, you can't enjoy it. The only way a person may be able to enjoy it, which is dangerous, is to block everything Islamic outside of your everything Islamic out of your mind. You know, so what you do is you avoid religious people. You never listen to lectures. You never go to the masjid. You avoid anything Islamic because you don't want to be reminded about Yom Kippur, the Day of Judgment, Jahannam, hellfire, or anything to do with Allah like that. And what they do is that they basically, they think, okay, I'm not a Muslim, I'm smoking, I'm drinking, I'm doing zina, yeah, but as long as I don't see a righteous person, or I don't listen to her lectures, or I don't go to the masjid and I don't hear that it's haram, then I'm okay. So it's like that person who bills come through their letterbox and they know they've got to pay them, but they think as long as I don't look at the bills, it doesn't apply to me. So there's lots of brothers and sisters who basically, what is they don't want to be reminded of the reality of this world, that there's a Jahannam that's being created and existing right now, a hellfire. There's a Day of Judgment that's existing right now. There's a Jannah that's existing right now. Yeah. And that we're going to be held accountable for it. So what they do is that they totally avoid anyone religious or anyone that's going to say Qala, Qala Rasul. Allah said and the Messenger said. And, you know, They avoid the masjid, they avoid watching any lectures, and they think, but as long as I don't hear about Jahannam, as long as I don't hear about Yom Kippur, then it doesn't apply to me. Which is foolish, because you know it applies to you anyway. And the dangerous thing about that is that if you keep on blocking Allah, the Messenger, Yom Kippur, and all these things that remind you of Deen, you know, out of your life, and you keep on avoiding them and trying to not hear about them, it may happen that one day you wake up and you don't have Iman in your heart, you know. So yeah. So the whole thing is, at the end of the day, is that, yeah, I made this channel. The reason why I made this channel is because I've been in that situation, because I know the depression, or I won't call it depression, you know, because depression might be a medical term that explains something a bit deeper, but because I know that misery, I call it misery because that's what it is, you know. Because of that misery, yeah, I know how it feels to be Muslim who's practiced, fallen off Deen, yeah, and then not practicing. I wanted to make a project that can reach people in his home, reach people in their homes, and alhamdulillah, the good thing about social media can be a blessing, or it can be a curse. You know, right now, you know, you can speak to someone directly to their phone, like this video, inshallah. You know, like you can use social media for good or bad, ain't it? So you can, for example, now you could talk to someone about smoking weed and why it's bad as a Muslim, or having doing zina, or going raving in a club, and this, that, and the other, and so forth. And you can put that on YouTube, and then someone can watch it directly on their phone. Because a lot of people who don't practice, they're not going to go to the masjid or masajid. They're not going to go. They're avoiding the masjid. They're avoiding the religious people. But alhamdulillah, the thing about the deen is you can make a video talking about these things, inshallah, as long as you stay in your lane. And you can put it on YouTube, you can put the right tags in it. So if they personally listen to music, you can put all the tag sites in it, like Gram Daily and Link Up TV and SBTV and Fire in the Booth and all this kind of stuff. And they will come up with their timeline when they type that stuff in. And you can speak to them directly without an audience. Because people speak very differently. People listen very differently when they're on their own or then when they're in a crowd. And I just wish, alhamdulillah, eventually, through my own fault, because I did a bit of that trying to avoid practicing people and stuff. And eventually one time I was on the high street and I saw a brother who I knew very well. In fact, I gave the brother shahada. Well, he took shahada from me and another brother from a tape that we gave him. See, this was back in the day when there was tapes. And he approached me and he started giving me nasiha and so forth, and that, yeah, that talk made me start practicing it. So if I could talk to a youth in their bedroom or on their PC or on their tablet or whatever, this, that, the other, alhamdulillah, and get them to either leave us in, yeah, or to start doing something good, alhamdulillah. And the good thing is that you may have a video out, if it's done properly and it's watchable and it's the decent quality and so forth, reminding someone something. And even when they're sleeping, even when you sleep, so even when you're sleeping, someone could be watching it and be giving up something, you know. That's what I say, social media can be a good thing or a bad thing, you know. For example, I don't understand these rappers, and I want to do a big discussion on music, because music is mashing up, it's mashing up everybody. It's mashing up the non-Muslims, it's mashing up the Muslims. Muslims are, music is a catastrophe. And I don't know how brothers that are rappers, you know, like there's Muslim brothers that are rappers, yeah, who that's their main source of income, you know. And they got videos, some of them got hundreds of views, some of them have got tens of thousands of views, some of them have got hundreds of thousands of views. So imagine you're a Muslim, yeah. Imagine you're a Muslim and you're rapping. We all know music is haram. I'm not debating that, you know. There's no need for debate. The Prophet said in an authentic hadith that there will be a group of people that will try and make music, alcohol, and and zina halal. Clear hadith, authentic. Yeah. And people say, oh, there's difference of opinion. What do you mean there's difference of opinion? Is there difference of opinion on zina? Is there difference of opinion on alcohol? No, so how come you say there's different opinion? There's a clear hadith. We say we hear and obey. It's clear. The thing is clear. Yeah. There's people that say there's different opinion of music. They don't even know the little for the reason why or the debate for why it was and so forth. And we don't follow human beings. If a scholar says that music's halal and the messenger said it's haram, it's haram. You know what I'm saying? Let a brother come up to you. You're saying in the hadith that says that the Prophet ﷺ said there will be a group of people that will try and make musical instruments, yeah, alcohol, yeah, and zina halal. Okay, if you believe there can be difference of opinion about these things, cool. Let a non-Muslim or Muslim man come up to you, to your sister, yeah, and say to you, I'm of the opinion that zina there's difference of opinion. If your sister's winner, I want her to be my girlfriend. Yeah, we see if you've got difference of opinion there. Yeah, let someone come up to your sister and offer alcohol and say to your sister, yeah, or your daughter, yeah, what is it? I'm of the opinion that there's difference of opinion on alcohol. So I want to go out for your daughter, and you have to respect my fiqh difference. It's rubbish, man. But anyway, the whole point is that, yeah. So I already set up the project to. Yeah, to basically speak to Muslims who are struggling, like, and have no link to the masjid. I want to talk to them directly. That's the reason why I did this. Yeah, so yeah, but anyway, this is just a test that I'm doing, and I'm gonna release the proper video. Like I said, it's gonna be much better quality. If it's not good quality on was it YouTube or on Instagram or Facebook or whatever the other one is, then don't worry, because a proper version is going to be coming out on filmed by DSLR camera, and it will be on my YouTube channel. So yeah, I want to be talking about lots of different topics. Obviously the most important things are Tawheed and Aqidah, because that's what makes a person a Muslim. Tawheed, the 3 categories of Tawheed, you know, and Aqidah, what we believe in, you know, what we believe in about this life, what we believe about the next life, what we believe about Jannah, what we believe about Jahannam, what we believe about the prophets, what's the difference between prophet and a messenger, what's the difference between the angels, what kind of creation are them, and so forth. This is, I think, one of the biggest problems, because I think one of the biggest problems of the Muslim youth, especially growing up in the West, is that they're born into cultural Muslim families. Yeah, they're born into culturally Muslim families. Yeah, so what happens is that their parents maybe take the madrasa when they're small, so they memorize, but they don't. A lot of the time, alhamdulillah, memorization is beautiful, but they don't talk what they memorize, so they know it in another language what they're memorizing, but they don't know it in their language what it means. Yeah, not only that, their parents, they might take them to madrasa and so forth, but when they come home, they put Bollywood on, they put Hollywood on, they put Nollywood on, yeah, and it contradicts what they learn in the masajid, yeah. Not only that, Muslim fathers, a lot of Muslim fathers, and I have to give it to the Muslim fathers, mashallah, out of all the fathers generally in the world, and like I said, I wasn't raised a Muslim, you know, I've lived more of my life as a non-Muslim than a Muslim, and I've got to be honest, like, the good thing about Muslim fathers is that non-Muslim fathers, the vast majority of non-Muslim people, yeah, the vast majority of the vast majority of non-Muslims, they don't know who their father is. That's well, in England I can say definitely, and I suppose it's the same in America, and I suppose it's the same in I suppose it's the same in America, and I suppose it's the same in Europe, but definitely in England, yeah. Hold on. Like I said, tech problems, the problems of my life, man. Sorry, Twitter guys, man, cut off. Yeah, got about I've got 3 different phones, a PC filmed to YouTube, and a DSLR camera filming. So, like I said, apologies for any inconvenience. But anyway, yeah. So basically, yeah. Sorry to lose the thought, but basically, yeah. So basically, like I said, I've been raised a non-Muslim, yeah, and I'm just being honest that the difference between Muslim dad and non-Muslim dad, there's a huge difference. Well, the vast majority of non-Muslim people don't know who their father is. Go down to any council estate, yeah, or any project in America, yeah, or whatever you call them in Europe. You know, some people we have in London, we have council estates. In America, in certain places, they have the projects, they have the blocks. In Europe, whatever they want to call it, everyone, you know, has their own names for it. But you got to 9 out of 10 kids on a council estate say, do you know your father? No. Do you know your father? No. And for the most part, is non-Muslim fathers, yeah. Non-Muslim fathers are not around. That's just a fact. They're not in the picture whatsoever. You may get 1 or 2, but the vast majority are not. Yeah. So yeah, they're not. You know, now Muslim fathers, I would say the vast majority of Muslim fathers and so forth, yeah, they're in their kids' life, like meaning that they're physically there, they're physically present, like the mother and the father together, you know. Most of the time, the vast majority of Muslim fathers are around, they're there, but there's this kind of thing, and I don't know where they got it from, but there's this kind of thing that, and I think they learned it from abroad, which is a wrong concept. They learned this thing that, boy, as long as I financially, yes, as long as I pay all the bills and I make sure everything's running financially, yeah, then that's that boy. At the end of the day, I don't have to say to my kids, I love you, I care about you, you're special, especially to young boys and so forth. I don't know where that came from, because this wasn't from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because the Prophet, there's a narration of where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was playing with his grandchildren, Hassan and Hussein, and a man come along and he sees them like wrestling with them and like playing about them, and he must have like kissed them, yeah. So the man said to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you know, he said, what? He goes like, you kiss like these children, these you know, grandchildren and so forth or whatever, you know. He said, I have 11 kids and I don't kiss any of them, meaning he doesn't show affection to them, he doesn't tell them he cares about them, doesn't tell them that I care, you're special, I love you, you mean something to me, I care about you and so forth. So the Prophet said to him, he said to him, if Allah's taken the rahmah out of your heart, then I can't replace it, yeah. So the whole thing is that this definition of being a man, you know, that you learn in the West is that, this definition of a man, yeah, that you learn, that a man, even in the West they teach it, yeah, that, you know, a man is just someone who's tense, he has no feeling, he's not in touch with, you know, how he feels and so forth, he never cries or this, that, the other, he never shows emotion, and this, that, and the other. This is rubbish, because we get our definition of what a man is from the Messenger of Allah, not from actors, not from rappers, not from celebs. So forgive me guys, man. So I'm saying, man, if I didn't have sub, I would have just packed this in. But I only do this because I know what it feels like to be a Muslim, yeah, who wants to practice, who's not practicing. So I was saying, I want to break this thing right now, Sabah. I apologize to anyone who's watching. This thing is annoying. One more time, man. Patience, 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 man. Assalamu alaikum to everyone watching. I apologize to everyone that's watching, you know. On Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I appreciate it. And like I said, I put test on this because I knew if I just tried to do the first show, and go straight into it, I knew it'd mess up. So okay. Cool. Yeah, so anyway, so so basically, if you're a brother or sister who's caught up in whether it's smoking, cigarette, or weed, or listen to tunes, or in a haram relationship, or um, what is it? I don't know, in a gang or any of these things, and you have no contact to anyone practicing and so forth, subscribe to the channel. Like I said, I don't care if you're not religious or anything. Subscribe to the channel because the talks that I'll be doing, inshallah, will be tailored for you, will direct towards you and so forth. You know, and what you'll find is that like right now, there's all over the world, Western world, Eastern world, but especially Western world, there's brothers and sisters who really want to practice, but they're just caught up in that cycle. You know, some of them have like non-Muslim friends. They link up with them. They bun. You know what I'm saying? They drink alcohol. They you know, have her own relationships, got a girlfriend or boyfriend and stuff like that. And in the back of their mind, they're saying one day I'm gonna practice, one day I'm gonna practice, one day. But they've been saying that for like weeks now, months now, years now. You know, yeah, and so forth. And the thing is, it's very hard for a person like that to change, because they don't link, they intentionally avoid religious people. They avoid practicing people. They don't go to the masjid, you know. They don't listen to lectures online because they don't want to be reminded of Yom Kiyama, Judgment Day, or the reality of this life. So they try to avoid it. So inshallah, I'm going to be making videos, be putting tags in the videos that it pops up in the kind of videos they watch and so forth, and dealing with it. Yeah. So if you've got any subjects that you think we should talk about, what to do subjects on, then just leave a message in the comments, whatever discussion you think. I'm also going to be talking about Muslims and social media, and marriage and so forth, because alhamdulillah, I've been married for a while now, and I think that like social media is destroying a lot of Muslim marriages. Like alhamdulillah, like I say, because there may be some non-Muslim haters that are watching that saying that are thinking, yeah, Muslims got problems, yeah, but Muslims do have problems, that's true, but they're still on the truth. But yeah, social media is proper messing up Muslim marriages. Also, I want to talk about a lot of videos about the sexualization of hijab, how some sisters, because I know the only God can judge me crew, they're so sensitive. They cry over everything, you know. It's like this only God can judge me crew, you know. Islam is in my heart, Islam is in my miniskirt, Islam is in my tight jeans, Islam is in my makeup. Just because I don't wear hijab, all this kind of stuff, you know. Like they're so sensitive, and they try to run people off the internet when you criticize things, you know. And there's brothers as well, you know, brothers who give dawah and this, that, in 1 minute they've got a account for dawah and they're giving dawah and so forth, and you know, they do reminders, and they know there's sisters that follow them to get reminders and benefits and imam boosters, and then the next time they're uploading a video in a vest, or you know, with them working out in the gym, or like posing and stuff, like tensing their muscles and stuff like that. Like, who you trying to kid, man? It's just a sly, snaky, sophisticated way of bloody flirting, you know. Because if you ever, you know, caught your wife watching a channel for a brother that gives dawah most of the time, and then what happens is what is it? You call, sorry, if these brothers that do these dawah things and give dawah and so for reminders and stuff the majority of time, but sometimes on their social media they upload videos, you know, like in a vest, or you know, like doing press ups, or with no top on, this and the other, or whatever the situation is, you know, and they try and bring the law about the auras from the belly button to the navel. They're chatting rubbish. Like I'll say it to all of you, bro, to your face. Because if you're watching your wife and a guy was not dressed properly, or he was only covered from his navel to his knees, or whatever, yeah, you wouldn't have it. You get vexed. If you're watching your wife on a laptop, watching someone who normally gives down and this, that, and the other, and he was working out in the gym, or he was wearing a tight vest or that, you wouldn't allow her to watch that. That laptop will get dashed, that phone will get dashed, that PC will get kicked over. Because you have ghayra, you have jealousy, you have haya, yeah, for when it comes to your wife. But other people, brothers, sisters, and so forth. So anyway, going to talk about all these subjects, inshallah. Like I said, if you've got any topics that you think that we should talk about and so forth, then leave it in the comments. Leave it in the comments and so forth, and then what I'll do, each one, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and stuff, I'll read through them, and then the ones that I think are relevant and so forth, inshallah, I'll talk about, you know, because it's really sad. Like, alhamdulillah, when I took Shahada, Bin Baz was still alive, Sheikh Al-Albani was still alive, Sheikh Uthaymeen was still alive, Sheikh Mukbil was alive. A lot of things have changed, you know. Alhamdulillah, social media's come, and there's good things about social media, but there's bad things about social media as well, you know. Like, wallahi, the sexualization of hijab is just Instagram. like, there's some sisters, alhamdulillah, there's some sisters who seek knowledge, who learn about the deen, and they understand why they wear hijab. Like, hijab is a form of tawheed and worship. Like, the main reason why they wear hijab is because it signifies that I am a believer, I'm a worshipper, I believe in a creator. You know, I believe in one creator that's not a man, it's not a woman, it's not a statue. I don't believe in zodiac signs, I don't believe in good luck charms, I don't believe in horoscopes, I don't believe in superstition. This uniform that Allah sent down to the female companions and so forth, I understand why I wear it. It means tawheed. Yeah, and it's 3 categories. I understand why I wear it. Yeah, and it also equals modesty. When you see me in this hijab, it shows you that I'm not a yes woman. I'm not a follower like a lot of women in society. You can tell by my uniform when you see a woman wearing hijab, without her saying anything, or jilbab, and I talk about like jilbab and hijab, or the things that meet the 7 conditions of hijab. I'm not talking about scarf and what Catwoman outfit, abaya. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about scarf and Spider-Man suit and Batman suit and this, that, and the other. That you wear intentionally to show off the private parts of your body and the shape of your body. I'm not talking about that. But the sisters that see knowledge, they know where they wear it. Yeah, and they respect it. And they when they wear it, they're careful about their manners and what they say and how they act and stuff, because it represents the deen. It's the uniform of Allah. It's like if you see a policeman smoking a spliff, you're gonna think he's an idiot. You're gonna think he's an idiot. You're gonna think he's a joker, and you're gonna think like, he doesn't respect the police force either. Because he's smoking a spliff in a uniform. So it's the same thing with like sisters, you know, dancing to like these zina tunes with hijab on, looking like a total contradiction and stuff. So all these issues. Same thing with brothers, you know what I'm saying? You know, like there's a big problem in America. And I made quite a few of these videos before, and they're on YouTube. But the problem is the quality was, when I did a live, after when it uploaded on YouTube and stuff, and you watch it back, it was terrible. Like, you couldn't see things clearly. And even though I'm doing it on this phone, it's quite clear. It's still not as good as a DSLR camera. So what I'm doing, I'm recording it on a DSLR camera, and these are just slides to let people know that the video was done. But eventually I'm gonna, you know, upload the one from the camera, and then take all the other ones down. Because I don't know, if you're gonna do something, you might as well do it properly, you know, and so forth. So yeah, like I was saying, like you have this thing in America, especially in places like Philadelphia. I'm not talking about the brothers. Alhamdulillah, there's good brothers in places like Philadelphia, students of knowledge and stuff, that are giving dawah and good examples, and you know, they understand why they have the beard, they understand why they trim the moustache, they understand why they wear the trousers above the ankle. They're following the Quran, the Sunnah, and the way of the companions and the rest of the Salaf. Yeah. So, alhamdulillah, may Allah reward them. But there's a lot of brothers in Philly, and unfortunately what happens in America affects London, because London follows American culture, and American culture doesn't really follow London. You may have a few exceptions, but in general, you're going to see what people wear, what people listen to in America, what people wear in America, and so forth. You're going to find in England, people parrot it, and very rarely does it go back in the opposite direction. It's like the relationship that Tony Blair had with George Bush, and this, that, and the other, and so forth. America does things, and England unfortunately copies them and parrots them like yes man, whether it's good or bad. So you got a lot of brothers in Philly who they may be, be rappers, and they trim their moustache, and they got the beard, and they got the thing above the ankle, but they're rapping about shooting people, sleeping with girls, smoking, like they got smoking spliff, they're drinking alcohol. Yeah, they got women in bikinis and lingerie in their videos. Yeah, and in their tunes they mention inshallah, mashallah, and all this crap in this haram tune. Yeah, and then you got brothers over here in London copying them. A few years ago we had Bloods and Crips in London doing all these gang signs, all this stuff. They got that from America, from movies and music. Bloods and Crips killing each other over postcodes, Peckham and Brixton, this, that, and the other, shooting each other, stabbing each other up, wearing red and blue bandanas. Why? There's no Crips. No Crips came over here and set up no guns over here. I bet there was people in America, Crips in America that didn't even, and Bloods in America that didn't even know that they were copying them over here. So the whole thing is that at the end of the day, music is not just something you listen to, it's a way of life. And when you're a Muslim and you listen to music, you become a living contradiction. But yeah, so all these topics, inshallah, I want to talk about, but you know, like I said, it's not just sisters and hijab and the sexualization of hijab on Instagram, where no one was like, wallahi, man, if you're one of these sisters on Instagram, you know, who wears hijab and dances to tunes, it's just despicable. Same with these brothers like in America, we have the big bed, you know, and rapping about how they doing sleeping with this girl and that girl and this, that and the other, shooting people, talking about how they go strip club, this, that and the other. Got girls in lingerie and bikinis in every video and stuff, and you got the beard, because you have this beard for a reason. When you grow, the Prophet said trim the beard and let the moustache grow. So when you grow it, like in Philly, you'll find there's a big population of Muslims in Philadelphia, and you'll find non-Muslims, yeah, who trim the moustache, grow the beard, walking with their trousers above their ankle, yeah, and you think they're Muslim, but they're not Muslim. They're just, unfortunately, I don't know why, but for some reason that the non-Muslims follow the Muslims there, you know. And generally in other places it's the other way, and that's a good thing. But it's not good when the Muslims are known as the biggest drug dealers and the biggest rappers and the biggest killers and stuff like that. So the whole thing is that you have this beard, yeah, and when you grew that, like, you have to ask yourself as someone in America, yeah, why do you grow this beard? Do you grow this beard because it's fashionable to have a big beard in Philadelphia or these places? Yeah, and everyone else is doing it. Do you wear your trousers above the ankle because everyone else is doing it? Do you trim the moustache because everyone else did it? Or are you wearing the beard because you're a Muslim and you're trying to follow the son of the prophets and so forth? And the companions, because all the companions grew their beard. All the prophets, they had beards and so forth. You have to decide why you're doing it. Because if you're growing the beard, yeah, because you're following the prophets, then how can you have women in lingerie and bikinis in your video? How can you be smoking a spliff? How can you have a spliff behind your ear? How can you be drinking alcohol in a video? How can you have that big beard and be making a haram tune when music is clearly haram? And that's the thing, if you ain't practicing, and you got a big beard and this, that, stop saying inshallah and mashallah and, you know, alhamdulillah in your tunes. Leave the deen out of your rubbish. If you're not practicing and you decide to be a rapper and you've got a beard for whatever reason or this, that and the other, stop chatting about, leave the deen alone. Stop mentioning the deen in your trash videos, in your rubbish videos. Wallahi, I don't know how it is in America, yeah, but these brothers should have some fair, meaning that they should know that they can't be doing these tunes with their Islamic beard, yeah, talking about sleeping with this girl and sleeping with that girl and shooting this and shooting that, you know, having the bed of the prophets, yeah, you know, having naked girls in their videos, yeah, and walking to a masjid, yeah, with their head up, or be around the masjid, yeah, feeling proud, like walking with their head up, like, yeah, I'm that rapper. Because I know in England, man, if there's a brother doing that and he had lehia and fobo or this, that and the other and so forth, man, around practicing brothers, he'd be ashamed. When he comes in a masjid, and a masjid should be a place that, I don't care if you're smoking, you're drinking, your life is messed up, the masjid should be a place chilling, regardless if you're smoking weed. I'm not talking about smoking weed in the masjid, obviously, but I'm saying if you're caught up in smoking weed, or you're drinking, or you're in a gang or something, the masjid should be like your second home, meaning that you can come to the masjid, yeah, and you could just chill out and just like, you know, clear your mind, you know, because masjids, there's something about masjids when you go and sit in masjids and so forth that you get this sakina. It's like this kind of it's one of the calmest place. You get this kind of like relaxed kind of feeling and so forth, yeah, and so forth. So anyone, I believe that, and I believe that the uncles, and this is a whole different subject. And like I said, I've talked about a lot of these subjects already before, but the quality of the videos is not good. So that's why I'm filming it now with the DSLR camera, and I'm gonna upload them. So alhamdulillah, even in 5 years, it will still be good quality and so forth, because after the live has gone, when you rewatch them, you know that the quality is not that good. So yeah, like I said, is that the masjid should be like the second home to the Muslim. The Muslim should feel that, you know, if I'm going through problems and stuff like that, you know, that after home, the masjid is my second home, and I can just chill there. I'm not going to be chased out. The masjid is not going to be closed after prayer. And unfortunately, the uncles have made the masajid hated to the youth, because they're too militant with the youth. So what it is that, and I don't get it, because some of these uncles in the masjid, yeah, like alhamdulillah, you built the masjid, and may Allah reward you, and you get rewarded for everyone that makes doing the masjid. You get rewarded for every salat, you get rewarded for every time someone picks up the Quran and so forth. And we know a good deed in Islam is a good deed in Islam, yeah, is a good deed in Islam is what is it, written down as 10, yeah, and if you do a bad deed, it's written down as 1, yeah. But the whole point is that yeah, alhamdulillah, you built the masjids, you maintain the masjid and so forth. But for some reason, uncles have this thing that they pray all their sunnahs, they pray all their wajib prayers in the masajid. They you know, they live basically in the masjid, a lot of them, like they're there for every salat. But that worship, that ibadah doesn't translate into rahmah for the youth. So when they take, not all of the uncles, of course, I'm not saying every single one, but a lot of youth, if you speak to them, when they went Quran class or madrasa when they was young, it was kind of like military style. So it's like memorize, or you get like beats or something, or they're firm with you. Even if they didn't physically beat you, it'd be like they'd be shadid, hard on you, yeah. So what happens is that with a kid, when he goes to the masjid, yeah, and he's just like, someone's firm with him to memorize, someone's firm to him to, you know, there's no softness in it and so forth. When that teenager boy, yeah, reaches teenage years and this, that and the other, and he's going through that stage of life where he's figuring out, you know, what life is about. And maybe, you know, because we're in the West, we're raised where there's a lot of haram around. There's music everywhere, there's nakedness everywhere, there's, you know, alcohol and stuff everywhere. So when he's going through them teenage years, and he's, you know, just trying to find himself as a Muslim living in a non-Muslim country and this, that, and the other, and people are tempting him with weed and cigarettes and alcohol, and to chat to girls or and so forth, and to hang out and to like get involved in some crime or get up involved in some gangs and this, that, and the other. The last place he wants to chill out in the masjid is, because when he was a youth, it was like military business, you know. So a person should feel that they can go to the masjid, and they should be able to feel that that yeah, if I've got problems, I can go and chill in the masjid and not be judged and so forth. But I'm talking about these rappers, like in America, that have got the big Islamic beard and this, that, and the other, so forth. Like when they come around a masjid, because the fact they're not just someone who's going through sin in their private lives, they're someone that are broadcasting sin. And the Prophet said, all of my ummah will be forgiven except those who broadcast their sins. Yeah. These rappers say, look, I got the beard of the prophets. Yeah. And I'm, yeah, and I'm saying it in my tunes. People know I'm Muslim. Yeah. I got a Muslim name. You know, or I talk about Islam in my interviews. And I've got, like I said, a big beard and stuff. And I've got naked women in my videos. I'm smoking spliffs in my video. You know what I'm saying? Like, so my videos talk about the strip club and this, that, and the other. Wallahi, These brothers should have to walk with their heads down around the masjid out of shame. How can you be like, you represent other brothers? You're representing the deen, you know, and then you're talking about all this stuff in your video. Like I said, if you happen to be a rapper, yeah, leave the deen out of your trash songs. Stop mentioning Alhamdulillah. Just stop mentioning Inshallah. Stop mentioning all this kind of stuff in your tunes. Don't mix the deen with your rubbish. Leave it out. Leave the deen out of it. The deen is not to be associated with your haram. So the whole thing is that is that we live in a time that things are changed. You know, like there's a million things you can play with. These like I was saying, the sisters on Instagram and so forth that are trying to look sexy in hijab with the makeup and the tight abayas and this, that and the other and so forth, and playing Nicki Minaj and Cardi B in the background. Like, don't get upset when you have these people, yeah, like in this country we have people called EDO. They're like a version of the KKK, but maybe not as extreme as the KKK, but they're still racist. They're like football hooligans, and they like to try and fight Muslims, but whenever they try to fight Muslims, they always try and they're cowards because they always attack old women or old men, yeah, or young women. They never attack. They never go one on one with a brother who can defend himself, yeah. But they're like KKK, basically EDO, UKIP. We've got all these different racist parties there and so forth. But some hijabis and stuff, they get vexed when EDO insult the Prophet or they insult Islam and this, that, and the other. But what's the difference between you and them? Like, if you saw a woman who managed to pretend to be a Muslim and go by the Kaaba, yeah, and she managed somehow to do a live by the Kaaba and was dancing, you know, by the Kaaba in hijab and stuff like that, or, you know, trying to wore extra tight abaya and took a picture by a Kaaba posing, you'd be vexed. You'd be vexed because the Kaaba is a symbol of Allah and it represents the deen. And you should be playing, you know what I'm saying, you should be dancing around the Kaaba, you should be trying to act sexy or look sexy around the Kaaba. But what's the difference between you and her? The hijab is a symbol for Allah. So how are you going to put the hijab on and intentionally, this ain't a mistake, how are you going to intentionally go to your club and put a hijab on, yeah? Do makeup, trying to look sexy and lustful, yeah? For men and women, yeah? Like, get your phone camera, set it up, yeah? Play music, like intentionally set the camera up, play music, dance to the music, repeat the words about sex and zina and this, that, and the other and so forth. Isn't that disrespecting the hijab, a symbol of Islam? Just like when people disrespect the Prophet and draw him in a certain way, isn't that a symbol of Allah? Isn't hijab a symbol of Allah? Isn't the Kaaba a symbol of Islam? Isn't the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam symbol of Allah? How do you do that, man? I don't get it. How does a person wear hijab, yeah, listen, play this Quran music, yeah, where all these girls just talk about how their private parts and how their body looks and all this kind of stuff, yeah, and talk about what guys they like to sleep with and this, that, and so forth, yeah. How do you like put the camera on, play that music, yeah, and then dance to hijab in it, yeah, knowing that Allah's al-Samir that all watching, al-Basir that all, al-Samir that all hearing, al-Basir that all seeing? How do you do that, man? Like, just be honest here. Don't look. You know what you should do? Just say, listen, yeah, I don't respect Allah. I don't respect Islam. I don't respect the Prophet. I don't respect hijab. I'm a selfish person. Yeah, I'm a selfish person. Yeah, who loves Haram music. Yeah, and I don't care about respecting Islam, and that's why I film these videos of me dancing, listening to music. You know, in a uniform that Allah gave to the female companions, because I'm a selfish person and I don't give a damn about anything about myself and my desire and what I want to do. Because you can't say that you respect Allah, the Messenger, Islam, hijab, yeah, and at the same time dance in hijab to this haram music. You can't. You can't. There's no way you can say I respect Allah, the Messenger, Islam, and the hijab, and I also intentionally wake up, put my hijab on, do makeup on, wear the tights up there that shows off certain of my body parts, play the music, That's not an accident. That's not a mistake. That's an intentional sin. And what's the message you're trying to send out to people? What is the message you're trying to send out to people? What's the message? That I'm a righteous twerker. I'm a religious whiner or stripper. I don't. What's the message you're sending out? So anyway, as I said, each of these topics in detail, and I'll talk about in detail and dedicate a whole show to it, about an hour long or something, and talk about it, because it's just madness. And the reason why I set up this channel, Streetordeen, this channel, it's not run by I got no ties to no Islamic channel. I've got no one backing me. It's just me. These videos are done outside of work when I have spare time to do them and so forth. And the reason why is that I've noticed something here. When you see a lot of these youth dawah channels, and so forth, especially the ones that are backed by Islam channel. I don't know why they call it Islam, because Islam channel is just like a concert. It's just like, I don't know, Islam channel is that, I don't know, they just call it like music FM or whatever. I don't know what it is. It's like, call it nasheed, call it whatever you want. Even this whole topic about nasheed, this rubbish. Nasheeds are just a crap version of music. Wallahi. And I believe, and I know, because through the shufta, that most people who listen to nasheed, they listen to music anyway. Like, casually, they start listening, every now and again they listen to music anyway, because nasheed is just a crap version of music. Really, you want to listen to music, that's why you listen to nasheed. So, but these are all different subjects that I want to go into. But yeah, the reason why I'm glad that I have no ties to no companies or Islamic channels and stuff like that, because whenever you see a lot of youth channels, and so forth, you can tell they don't understand Tawheed, they don't understand Dawah and stuff like that. Because if you look at most youth programs for the Muslim youth, they will either contain music, or they will all the intros to these youth programs, you'll find it has singing in it, or it has a vocal beats in it, and vocal beats and beats are the same thing. What's haram about musical instruments is the sound that comes out of them. Musical instruments are haram. The sound that comes out, what's haram about musical instruments is the sound that comes out of them. If you make the same sound and the same effects with your mouth, then that's haram too. It's just trying to play games with Allah. So whenever you see these youth channels and youth dawah channels and stuff like that, except for a few and so forth, what you'll find is that a lot of them, they have musical instruments, beatbox instruments, or like singing intros. And what you find is that the Prophet and the companions and the rest of the Salaf, they didn't sing. Singing was not a part of their life. They were not feminine soul singers or singing like Boyz II Men and Jodeci and all these. I don't even know who the new guys are out now. But they were not. You didn't find the Prophet and the companions and the rest of the Salaf, when they wanted to reach the youth, they became feminine and started singing so a cappellas, nearly crying, bending on one knee, saying "Oh baby" and all this crap. I heard man the other day, certain people in the Dawah field push. Man was singing a Islamic version of Titanic. Oh please, man. Man was singing an Islamic version of the Titanic song. Do I even need to give you an ayah or a hadith to explain why this is crap? This is another thing. This whole thing that Shaitan has got people involved in that I'm going to sing. I'm going to listen to haram songs, Because this is how the Nasheed people start off. They start off saying, I'm going to sing, and give dawah through nasheeds, through singing. even though no prophet gave dawah through singing. I mean, the prophet or none of the companions gave dawah through singing. Yeah, but they say I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do something new to what the prophet didn't do. So I'm gonna give dawah through singing, even though no prophet did. And they were singing in the prophet's day, but he chose not to use it. So then they realize people are not listening to them. So they say, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use vocal beats because maybe then people will listen. So they use vocal beats. People still don't listen. So then they say I'm going to use musical beats, which is the same thing as vocal beats. They're both around. Then what happens? That's not good enough. People are still not listening. Yeah. So what they say now I'm going to take Kafar songs that the Kafar love, and the Muslims who are not practicing love, and I'm going to change the words. Yeah, I've changed a few words to Islamic words. But hold on, for you to listen to them tunes is haram. So now what you've done, you start listening to haram, yeah, and now and to change the words and to put Allah in there and to put inshallah in there and alhamdulillah, you have to know the lyrics to the tune. You have to know the lyrics, and the lyrics are talking about sex, they're talking about killing, talking about fornication, they're talking about clubbing and all this stuff. So anyway, yeah, and then that's what I'm saying. You just Shaitan just uses you. The aim of the youth dawah. Is to reach the youth. The youth are here, and practicing people are here. The aim of the youth dawah is that you speak to the youth in a way they understand and they become more practicing. That's the aim. You speak to the youth in a way they understand and you become more practicing. That's the aim of youth dawah. The aim of youth dawah, what happens nowadays is that the youth are here. The practicing brothers are here. The practicing brothers start singing. The practicing brothers start using vocal beats. The practicing brothers start taking kafar songs, yeah, and start singing kafar songs, yeah, and so forth. Yeah. The youth have come closer to you. You've come closer to the youth that are not practicing. So you ended up singing, and the non-Muslim youth, yeah, what is it? The Muslim youth, what is it? They stayed where they was. So this is what most of the youth does about nowadays. So like I said, brothers and sisters, these are the topics I'm going to be talking about. Like I said, type Streetordeen into any social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, YouTube, yeah, and follow me. I have 2 accounts on YouTube. Main account Streetordeen TV and Streetordeen. Subscribe to them both because I release different things on both of them. So yeah, thank you for watching. Anything that you will feel that is relevant that we should talk about that's affecting the Ummah and so forth, leave it in the comments on whatever social media you are. I'm going to look through them all afterwards, inshallah. And yeah, and I'll think about doing a show on it, inshallah. Jazakallah khairan for watching.